Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really getting into a fascinating part of Romans chapter 9. It's a bit of a head scratcher, right?
Definitely. It's this paradox. How did Israel, who were so committed, so focused on righteousness through the law, actually miss it?
Yeah, while the Gentiles, who weren't pursuing it at all, somehow attained it.
Exactly. And that's really the heart of verses 25 to 33. Our mission today is sort of to unpack Paul's thinking there. It's all about this clash, this fundamental difference between trying to earn righteousness through works,
right, through merit,
versus receiving it freely by grace through faith. And Paul really hammers it home with that line. They failed because they stumbled over the stumbling stone.
Okay, stumbled over the stumbling stone. Let's unpack that. First, though, why is relying on the law, God's own law, the Korah, why is that impossible for, ultimate justification? What did they miss about its purpose?
Well, the basic principle, you see this consistently in the analysis, is that nobody, absolutely nobody, can generate enough personal goodness, enough merit to stand righteous before a perfectly holy God based on their own efforts.
It's just not possible.
It's not. The law's real purpose, as Paul explains in other places too, was actually to show what sin is, to define it, and to reveal God's perfect standard, a standard we just can't meet on our own.
And the ultimate proof of that
is Jesus Christ. His death on the cross is the loudest declaration possible that salvation cannot be earned by human striving. If it could, well, the cross wouldn't have been necessary, right?
Makes sense. So the core contrast is clear. Salvation isn't a wage you earn for doing good works. It's a gift you receive.
Precisely. It's received through believing in Jesus. Now, the issue was many in Israel took, immense pride in keeping the law of the Mosaic covenant. They saw it as the path to making themselves right with God.
So they approached righteousness. How did Paul put it? As if it were based on works.
Exactly. As if it was about performance.
Which leads us right back to that stumbling stone paradox in verses 30-33. Israel's failure wasn't because righteousness is a bad goal. It's a great goal.
The best goal.
But they chose the wrong path, the wrong method. Works, not faith. Can you break down what that failure looked like?
Yeah. Their pursuit often focused heavily on the outward signs, things like dietary rules, circumcision, the visible markers of the covenant. But it often missed the internal change, the heart transformation that the prophets always call for. They were, in a way, trying to put God in their debt based on their performance, their compliance. And because they were so locked into pursuing it as if it were based on works,
they couldn't accept the alternative.
They refused the alternative.
Yeah.
Just receiving righteousness through simple faith. And that's how they stumbled. They tripped over the stumbling stone, the rock of offense, which Paul explicitly identifies as Christ himself.
Wow. It's such an incredible, almost tragic irony. And Paul even uses scripture to back this up, right? He quotes Hosea and Isaiah right there in Romans 9.
He does. He uses those prophets to show that God's plan actually included this kind of surprising twist all along, calling people who were technically not my people the Gentiles.
And making them my people.
Yes. It shows God's sovereign choice often runs completely counter to what we humans expect or think is fair. He bypassed the really zealous efforts of those trying to earn it through the law and instead poured out grace on those who had zero claim, zero merit.
Okay, let's bridge this to today. Because this whole idea of striving, of earning your place, that feels very familiar, doesn't it? Our whole culture seems built on it.
Oh, absolutely. That modern mindset of work harder, prove yourself, earn your worth. You see it everywhere, career, status, even sometimes relationships. It's the air we breathe.
The meritocracy pressure.
That's the perfect modern parallel. And it's so easy, almost unconsciously, to drag that performance mentality right into our faith. We start thinking maybe subconsciously that our spiritual activities, our Bible reading stats, our serving hours, our good Christian performance somehow earn us God's love or approval.
Like we're building up points with God.
Exactly. Keeping a spiritual scorecard.
And that just keeps us striving, constantly seeking approval, maybe even feeling guilty when we fall short. But the really radical message here, the thing we need to grab onto is, none of that earns God's favor.
Not one bit. Your GPA, your job title, your volunteer hours, your quiet time streak, none of it makes you right with God. Jesus already did that.
So the call isn't to try harder on the checklist.
No. The call is to stop striving for approval and start living from a place of already having it. To live out of gratitude, out of rest in God's grace, not out of guilt or obligation.
When you put it all together, salvation hinges completely on what Jesus has done for us, not what we do for him. It flips everything.
It changes the entire foundation from human effort, from merit, to a divine gift to grace.
So the big question for you listening is this. If you truly, deeply believed that your standing with God is totally secure through faith alone, completely separate from your performance, good or bad, how might that change the way you actually live your life this week? How would it change your priorities, your anxieties, your actions? Something to really think about.